What is up, beautiful people? Welcome back to Beautifully Made Podcast, where we talk all things faith, young Christianity, and mental health. It is your girl, your host, Jayla Spence. I hope you're doing well. I know it's been a long time, but there's a reason why it's been a long time. But first, before we get started, I want to get into this intro song. The title is Left Side. It's like an instrumental. I don't know who the artist is, but let's just jam for a few seconds and then let's get into the topic. Y'all ready? Let's go. I'm over here dancing. Ain't no beat yet. Here it goes. All right, y'all. So that intro song was really, really dope to me. Y'all know I'm about to introduce y'all to some new songs, some new artists that I have found that I'm excited to share. But so just remember, it's gonna be a different intro song every single episode. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna jam. We're gonna get it together. Okay. So again, welcome back, Beautifully Made Podcast. Let's do it. So today's topic, y'all. It's more than a religion. What did you say, Jayla? It's more than a religion. So I want to talk to y'all about having a relationship with God. Sometimes society doesn't really they don't express the point of, okay, you believe in something, but you just believe in it. But people don't realize that you have to have a relationship with the thing that you believe in. So, I'm a Christian. I love God. God is my everything. He is my, he's the best. He's amazing. And to me, it's more than just a belief. It's a relationship. So I'm going to discuss to you about, some background on myself and how you should be the imperfect you, as well as you should also have a relationship with God. So I'm going to use myself for an example. We're going to get into the topic and we're going to have a good time. So, when I was in high school, as y'all know, I was bullied, things of that nature. I had low self-esteem. So, and I was really sheltered. I wasn't really into going out and experiencing a lot of things that maybe other teens have maybe experienced. So once I graduated high school, it was a whole different ball game. I graduated high school and I stayed home for school. So the only requirement that my parents really had was, hey, get a job so you can support yourself or whatever. So I got a job and I started meeting new people. And when I met these people have already experienced things that I've never experienced. So they were really cool at the time, and part of me was just trying to fit in. I felt like I needed to mold myself into somebody that I wasn't. I've always been a very respectful individual. I've always respected my elders. I've always, just been a good individual overall. But once I met these people, things changed. So not saying that these people were the disaster or anything, but they definitely showed me a side of myself that I never want to see again. So when I met them, we started going to clubs and hanging out, and they introduced me to a lot of things I never did in high school. Clubs and going out, being out all night, late times of night, out of the hour, dressing up differently, showing my figure more, I guess, meeting new people and things of that nature. So when we were going out, it seemed cool, it was a whole different vibe, a whole different thing. And I felt like I could be myself, but I also felt like I had to kind of be somebody totally different in order to get along with this group of girls. And, we got really, really close, to the point where we talked all the time. But then we started going out to clubbing multiple times out of the week. I was also working. I had a summer job as well. So, I would go to the club and then I have to be at work at 7:00 in the morning and I'll get home around 2 a.m. And so it was very stressful. But I remember one instance where we met these guys at a club and they instantly was like, hey, you guys come to our hotel, and they one of them was filming me and things of that nature. We didn't know these guys from the earth, the moon, the sun, the stars. We didn't know who they were. They said, they were on tour, and they just, wanted to hang out. So we went to their hotel. Of course, I was scared. I was terrified. But apparently, some people have already experienced this, so I didn't know what to do. And again, I was just trying to be like them because I wanted to fit in. I always wanted to fit into the crowd because I felt like that was the only way that I would be accepted. So we hung out multiple times to the club and things of that nature. And then there was one instance where the guy wanted to have sexual interaction with me. As a Christian, I am still a human. So, of course, there's temptation and multiple things that are going on. So, I kind of accepted and went into temptation. I was a virgin. I never experienced any of those things. He honestly was my first kiss. So, it was something totally different. And I remember my heart beating so fast because he brought me to his room and we were literally about to, get into it. And I was like, wait, do I really, really, really want to do this? I was terrified. I was scared. And let me tell you something about God is that God is always there. It may seem like, even when you don't know him, he's never there. But when you look back on your life and you're like, wow, things could have been a lot worse. I want to tell you that that's God's grace and mercy. Because as soon as we were about to have sexual or interaction or whatever, there was a knock at the door and it was one of my friends and she was like, hey, it's time to go. We're ready to go, whatever. And y'all, I was so I was so excited to leave. Because the way I grew up, is wait until you're married. And I was terrified. I was like, what happens if I do this and then I get pregnant or something happens? I get a disease. I don't know who these people are. So, I went through that phase. And then also during that whole phase of being around these people, I started disrespecting my grandparents. I was living with them and it'll be times where they'll be calling me 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't answer the phone. They'd be like, hey, you got a curfew. Where are you? What's going on? What's happening? And I just completely avoided them. And they saw a side of me that they never seen. And I also saw a side of myself that I never seen. And like I said, I grew up in a Christian home. My grandparents, they are, they always tried to be the best example as they could be towards me, my family, and my cousins and things of that nature. So they saw a side of me that was terrifying to them. So eventually I got tired of going through the same thing, the constant just feeling dark, and because I was so trying to fit in so hard that it became very draining. And I want to tell you, it's simply okay. It took me a while to get to this point, but it's simply okay to be different. There's nothing wrong with being the imperfect being that you are. I want to tell you that God, he gives us these beautiful gifts that a lot of people are not going to see. God's not going to reveal all your gifts to everyone. There are certain people that he's going to place in your life where they're going to see something in you that you may not even see in yourself. I remember my grandma on my dad's side, she told me that before my grandma on my mom's side died, she basically said, Jayla will be a missionary. And I've always been told that ever since I was young, hey, your grandma said you're going to be a missionary. And I was like, what? Me? Nah. But as my life has been unfolding, I've seen myself do, I have a passion for missionary work. I have a passion for giving back. I have a passion for just helping others and sending an uplift and a word and encouragement to whoever I can go to. And I'm starting to things that my grandmother told my family before she died are starting to unfold. It's crazy because God, he works in that way. But I just want to tell you, it's okay to be, my phone failed. It's okay to be the imperfect being that you are. There's nothing wrong with being different. I'm a very different person. I'm not into a lot of shoes, and I'm not into a lot of things that maybe others are into. But God is going to provide people in your corner that it doesn't matter that you have to wear what I wear. It's okay that if you like coffee, I heard this on YouTube. It's okay if you like coffee, I like tea. That doesn't mean that we have to have a disagreement. That doesn't mean that we have to hate each other. We just have differences, and that's okay. And God, He's going to provide people in your life that may have differences, but also see or have that pouring that you need. We all need to be poured into. A lot of times we pour into others and we are not poured into ourselves. So I just want to tell you that to accept the imperfect you, because there is no other you. There will be no other you. I know sometimes we're like, well, what's so different about me? Well, when you take those opportunity and those chances to find yourself and spend time with yourself, you're going to see some things that you have that others don't. Sometimes you may have a spirit that maybe somebody doesn't have. You may have that nurturing spirit, or just by the way you walk, by the way you talk, by the way you present yourself to others. It's different. You're unique for a reason. Something that someone told me is, you were born to stand out. And the crazy thing is, the reason why you can't get along with the in crowd is because you were born to stand out. It's okay with not being in the in crowd. Like, it's okay to just be imperfectly you. And that's the beautiful thing about God, is that when you have a relationship with Him, He will show you those imperfect things that you have, and He will make those imperfect things blossom, and people will be like, I love that about you, and you're going to be like, wait, you love that about me? So I just want to tell you to be the imperfect being that you are. Don't be like me when I try to be like everyone else. Okay? It ain't worth it. Okay? So, and also, it's hard being like everybody else. It's a lot of work. It's draining. You can find yourself in a very dark place, and I don't want you to be in that place. When you are yourself, when you are your imperfect you are in a sense of freedom. What people don't know is that, yes, being a Christian, doesn't mean that we we have more advantage than someone else. We're just as human as everyone else. And we go through trials and tribulations, but the beautiful thing about serving and having a relationship with God is that He allows us to be free. He allows us to be the free that we are. He broke the shackles and gave us free will. He gave us common sense. He gave us the ability to be simply who we are. And remember that you are beautifully, fearfully, and wonderfully made by God. Now, I want to tell you, it's so important to have a relationship with Him. I'm going to go into it's more than a religion part, is because, it's because once I distance myself from trying to be like everyone else, I had to seriously start a relationship with God. I went through a lot of isolation, and then all of a sudden, I prayed and I asked God. I said, God, I just want a friend. I want a supportive, positive person in my life. And He sent me my friend, and it was amazing. The things that, she helped me get through and I helped her get through. It was like the perfect timing. But my relationship with God really, really advanced. Last year, 2020, when the pandemic hit, I really had to get down to the nitty gritty of my depression, my anxiety, the things that I went through, the things that I encountered. And I had to really sit down and have a relationship with Him. Let's just say, use a marriage for example. You can't get married to someone you don't know. You have to really do the work in order to gain the freedom, gain the peace that the world cannot give. Instead of, I've seen where people like, oh, I believe in God, but they don't do the work to have that relationship with him. And the reason why I say it's more than just a religion is because God has been there for me in many ways that I can't even describe. In many ways where I wanted to end my life, and God was like, no, there's someone that needs that greater you, that beautiful being that you are. I just want to simply just, tell you to just continue to grow and evolve and be the best person that you can be. A lot of times I know I used to put people at a pedestal. I used to I was like, certain friends and certain family members I put all the way at the top, and I was like, they'll never hurt me, they'll never make me upset, or they'll never walk away from me. And little did I know, honey, boo boo child. Little did I know, the opposite happened. And of course, it was frustrating because I got hurt by people that I put so high up on a pedestal. And something that God definitely taught me is to simply put him first. A lot of times we put others first because, like I said, we feel like they're not going to hurt us, that everything's going to be all right, that they love us so much that they will keep us and hold us together. But I simply want to tell you that people change, seasons change, people change. When there's a different season, things happen. When people go through things, they change. We're constantly evolving, but God is a never changing God. He is a God who, he doesn't switch up on you when you had a bad day. He doesn't say, oh, I don't love you today because you made me mad, or I don't love you today because you were disobedient. The beautiful thing about God is that he loves us, period. There's no if and buts about it. So that's why I tell you to be that imperfect you, because God doesn't have a standard where you have to be this, you have to be that, you have to do this today, you have to do that today. It's more of, hey, I just want you to have that relationship with me. I just want you to talk to me when you're having a bad day. I want you to come to me when you're frustrated. I want you to come to me when you're confused. I want you to come to me when you need help. I want you to come to me and cry out to me when you're hurting, when you want a healing, when you want a breakthrough. I want you to have that relationship with me. And sometimes we feel like we're all alone. We're like, well, God, you say you're here, but I don't hear you. And the beautiful thing about God is, hey, I'm here with you, because if I wasn't here with you, you wouldn't have made it through this breakthrough or this bad and harsh day. I had to learn that things could be a lot worse. And the fact that God brought me through maybe a rough day, that was enough of saying, I love you. I know sometimes where people, they can get frustrated by other people when they're going through something. So instead of them being there for that individual, they would rather, step away and distance themselves. But the beautiful thing about God is that he don't do that. Okay. God doesn't do that. When he sees you struggling, if anything, he's drawing closer to you. When he sees that you want more of him, then he's going to want more of you. So that's why I encourage people to simply be that imperfect you, because God is not looking for you to be perfect. He's looking for you to be yourself. He's looking for you to be real with him. He's looking for you to be honest. He's looking for you to just embrace the being that he made you. I want to tell you that you are a beautiful being. I had to literally learn self-care and self-love this year. I had to take a step back and work on myself. Take a step back and simply put others in the back burner. And it wasn't something intentional. It was just, I was so focused on helping others that I forgot about myself. You know what I'm saying? And so I started therapy again. And I want to say on that therapy talk, honey, you can love God and still not go to therapy. Do you understand me? Do you understand what I'm talking about, honey? You can still love God, can still have a relationship with him. He didn't create all these people just for you to sit around and not get any help. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to get help. It's okay to heal. Like I tell people all the time, there is no time limit to healing. So being the imperfect you also requires sacrifice. It also requires having to make mistakes. You make the mistake and you learn from it. And sometimes we go through tests and we keep going through the tests till we learn, but it's part of being that imperfect you. Be that imperfect being. There's nothing wrong with being who God created you to be. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fail. That's simply part of life. It's inevitable. But the beautiful thing about God is that he gives us grace every day. He gives us mercies, new mercies every single morning. Because he knows my child's not perfect, but my child is worth it. My child isn't perfect, but my child is worth it. And he has a plan for your life. And he sees something in you that you may not see right now. You know, you have dreams, and then he has dreams for you too. You know, he has a plan for your life bigger than you can. Oh, excuse me, I'm getting all excited. Bigger than you can ever imagine. I always tell myself that somebody's waiting on a greater me. You know, somebody's waiting on my yes. Somebody needs my yes. Somebody needs my strength, to the point where if I'm going through something, I have to encourage myself and say, you know what? I got to get through this because somebody needs it. He needs all of these things to construct the plan that he has for your life. And he sees something in you that is more beautiful than anybody could ever imagine. Don't let people tear you down and make you feel less than who you are. Make you feel like you're undeserving. There will be people that will try to do those things, but don't let it be you. Don't let it be you to tear yourself down. You lift yourself up. And you speak over yourself and over your life. These are things that I have to tell myself and things that I have to do personally so I can be the better version of me, so I can be who God made me to be. And when you are being the imperfect you, like I said, it's going to require some sacrifice. There's going to be times where you're going to have to sacrifice who you used to be. It's going to be times you have to sacrifice what you did yesterday. Sacrifice time, sacrifice relationships, sacrifice having to do certain activities. You can't do what everybody else can do. You know, you are a child of God, so it requires sacrifice. So yeah, I just want to say that be that imperfect you, and know, let me go back to the scripture, okay? And know that Psalms 131:14 says, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So God made you into this beautiful goddess, prince, king, queen. So believe that. And every king, queen, princess, prince, whoever, okay, is not always perfect. Everyone has these little quirky, unique things about them. And that's the beautiful thing about you. God made you into this beautiful being. So be that imperfect you each and every day. And have grace for yourself. You have grace for others, but breathe. Take a moment, have grace for yourself. You know, if you make a mistake, if you don't reach a goal, if you don't get to where you want to be at the time and place, it's a timing for everything. And just have grace for yourself. These are things that I have to constantly tell myself every single day. To breathe, to have grace, and know that if God gave me grace and mercy, I should be able to give myself the same thing. So, yes, I hope that you took away from this To be the perfect you. To be the imperfect you. Sorry, my headphone went out. But to be the imperfect you. Love who you are. Love who God made you to be. Love those quirky things about you. Love those things that don't make sense. Love your flaws. You know, we all got them. There's nothing wrong with them. Love them. Because, and guess what? Is somebody out there that's going to look at you and be like, oh, she cute. He handsome. Excuse me. You know, somebody's gonna look at you and you may be the most beautiful thing they ever seen. Be like, what? And then it's gonna be people that's gonna love your flaws. It's amazing how God has people for all of us. We're not meant to go through this life alone. We're not meant to go through trials and tribulations and go through all of these things by ourselves all the time. Now, it will be seasons where there will be isolation, and that's another topic that I cannot wait to talk to y'all about. So, be the imperfect you. Somebody is going to love all over that imperfect you. Just wait and see. I love y'all so much, and I'm praying for you. If you're going through anything, if you're going through any healing, anything of that nature, you are in my prayers. And I just want you to keep going, keep pressing, keep evolving, keep growing, and know that God has you in the best interest at heart. If nobody else has it, if nobody has your support, if nobody encourages you, if nobody is there for you, the one person that will never change, never switch up, different season, same God. He's the one. Y'all have a blessed one. And if you like this video, please leave a review for me. You know, I'm gonna first let me ask you a question. What are some topics that you feel need spotlight on? If you have any topics that you feel need more spotlight on, don't hesitate to leave a review. Subscribe, like, and share, and comment below. Y'all have a good one. Y'all have a safe one. And be encouraged. And don't forget, you were beautifully, wonderfully, and fearfully made. Much love.